I don't see Amanda Bynes take. I want to say Amanda Bynes because I feel like Amanda Seals is constantly caught up in some sort of self-inflicted bind. When it comes to Amanda Seals, I feel like she never takes accountability, and I think that Amanda enjoys conflict until it gets too hot, and then she likes to play victim. I'm gonna start from the beginning and then kind of tell you how I feel about this Amanda Seals situation. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna open the phone lines for you all to call in and voice your opinion about any of the topics that we discussed on today's show. But I'm really prioritizing people who really have an opinion about Amanda Seals. Whether you feel good, bad, and different, whether you agree with me or not.
I would love to do Shannon Sharpe show. I think it would actually be career changing, and not just for like my career, but for the fact that in showing that even when you keep it a buck about things, even when you stand 10 toes down on issues that are global and political, that even when you align yourself with integrity and work independently, that you can still have a fruitful career. And I think that would be career changing for a lot of folks and for expanding the idea of what a career in this industry actually can be. So, Mr. Sharpe, if you were to have me on the show, I could make myself available. I would love to do Shannon Sharpe show. I think it would actually be career changing, and not just for like.
Okay. So here we see she definitely wanted to go on Shannon Sharpe's show. And so what I found to be interesting and quite hypocritical, to be quite frank, is the fact that she said that Shannon Sharpe was interrogating her, that he backed her into a corner, especially and specifically when she spoke about the alleged autism diagnosis. I found that to be far more than a reach. I found it to be egregious. I found it to be her weaponizing, just really weaponizing her vocabulary, because how can somebody interrogate you for an interview that you willingly, not only did you willingly sit down for, you asked for? You felt like that was the right platform for you. You felt like that was the right platform for you to sit down and kind of tame this image, because you have been irritated beyond the shadow of a doubt with how Black media has been treating you within the last couple of weeks. But this is something that is a flare up for you. At least 2 to 4 times a year, you come out and you speak out about each and every entity, each and every establishment, each and every organization, and each and every person that doesn't accept you with the loving arms that you feel entitled to. You could have easily got up and walked away. And interrogation is something you cannot get up and walk away from. I mean, does nobody watch, Forensic Files or the crime documentaries on Netflix? When you're being interrogated, you cannot get up and leave. They're getting something out of you because they feel like you're guilty or something, or they really just need answers to solve a case. This is something that you signed up for because you thought you would be able to flip it and spin it a certain way, Amanda. That's what this is. And you went on to say that you have been clinically diagnosed with, matter of fact, let's go ahead and just listen to it. You said that you were clinically diagnosed with autism. And come to find out, per your own admission, people ain't even go looking far and wide, deep and wide, far and wide, whatever. Ain't nobody go looking at you sank your own battleship. You sunk your own battleship. And now you're upset at us because we heard it and you want us to forget about it.
At the end, he was asking, no, I have not been clinically diagnosed by a doctor because I'm not paying $10,000 to do that. And most people will tell you that at this age, you don't need a clinical diagnosis in that sense. And I think that's the other thing. It's like, we are so conditioned here in this nation to really only consider something in one kind of way. And I will get back to that. They cut out at the end. He was asking, no, I have not been.
So let me ask you this. How old were you when you got diagnosed? And did you always feel that you was different and you felt something was wrong?
Well, what's today?
Today is Thursday, the 18th.
So 42 and however many days until I was just recently diagnosed.
Okay.
And this came out of this situation because so many Black women who are autistic said to me, I see you. You need to. And I've always thought, you can look at other interviews. I have mentioned before, like, I think I'm on the spectrum because I'm an 80s baby. This was not really a part of the narrative.
Right.
And as we started seeing more about autism and you start seeing shows about different characters, and I start learning more like from people like Holly Robinson Pete, I'm like, this feels really like me. But then, you know, I think sometimes we're afraid to learn certain things.
Yeah.
So
60s and 70s babies just got whipped and put to bed.
And to be honest, it's true. And to be honest, I just want to say, like, so my mom, so in this revelation, my mother started looking up like symptoms of autistic children and was like, oh, you exhibited all of this, but I didn't know what to do with this. Mm-hmm. She's a single parent. She's trying to figure it out. But I really just thank my mom, because what my mom couldn't show up for me emotionally, I realized that she was able to, at the very least, that's not even fair to say, she was able to still let me be who I am instead of beating it out of me,
right?
Which happens to so many kids who are misunderstood, you know, like, and she's West Indian, Laja Palgrida Massive. And so like, I'm over precocious, you know, loquacious child that's always talking, and they're telling her like, why you letting her just do all this talking and all of that? Why she's too fresh? She's too fresh. Why you doing all? Why you letting her just run shimoto? And my mom is like, that's Amanda. Like, let her live. Right. And let's be real, most parents.
That's what happened.
No, shut it up. Precocious, you know, loquacious child that's always talking.
Okay, so let me just say this. Amanda is her own worst enemy. Amanda is her own worst enemy. And I really wanted to preface what I was saying with this clip, because this clip actually, the voice backing behind it is actually a real. I watched the interview was a little over 3 hours. I watched the entire thing, and I actually watched it twice. Right. So I've been in a lot of pain the last couple of weeks. Y'all know what I've been going. So I'm just like laying there in bed, couldn't do nothing else. So I'm just laying there listening to it while I'm going to sleep. And at first I was going to start taking notes, but it was too much. I take very detailed notes. I'm like, I'm not doing this. There was a lot that I could just remember based on just watching it. This was really funny to me because Shannon Sharpe, and this is a real voiceover, it's not fake, but you can see the skit over top of the voice. Shannon Sharpe was looking for a Dr. Umar moment. He was definitely looking for an I gotcha Dr. Umar moment. Y'all take a look at this.
Your mom is white.
My mother is not white.
Is your
Why
mom?
do people keep saying my mother is white?
She's West Indian, so.
She is a black woman from Grenada, which is a black island.
She married a white man.
No, she did not.
Your mom is white. She West Indian. She married a white. He said somebody's white, goddammit. Somebody white, goddammit. Somebody's gonna be white for the sake of being white, because goddammit, I got these cue cards and my researcher said somebody's white.
But anyway, your mom is white.
My mother is not white.
Is your
Why
mom?
do people keep saying my mother is white?
She's West Indian, so.
She is a black woman from Grenada, which is a black island.
She married a white man.
No, she did not.
The fact that both of them getting dragged from this interview is just complete and absolute accidental comedic gold. Yes, the muscle suit. The muscle suit was also very, very funny. Your mom is white. No, she's not. She's West Indian. She married somebody white. so funny to me. Jesus. Oh.
But anyway, your mom is white.
My mother is not white.
Is your
Why
mom?
do people keep saying my mother is white?
She's West Indian, so
she is a black woman from Grenada, which is a black island.
She married a white man.
No, she did not.
He need to fire his researcher. His researcher that gave him them cue cards truly set him up. Oh, they said somebody's white. Push back on her. Push back on her because somebody's white. Woo! Oh my God, that was so funny to me. Okay, so to keep it moving with how I feel about Amanda Seales.
Or what would you like to say about that? First, I should say about the discovery of your autism. But what do you want people to either know about autism or the fact that you recently discovered that you have autism? There's a lot of talk about whether or not the diagnosis was clinical, or what would you like to say about that?
First, I want to say it is so wild to see people pick and choose when they want to believe doctors and when they don't.
Let me just pause right there. Amanda, you lied. I'm not saying that you aren't on the spectrum. I'm not saying that you don't have some sort of neurodivergent situation that you are living with. But what is the treatment would be my first question. But Amanda, you lied. He asked you if you were clinically diagnosed. Autism and things of that nature are nothing to play with. And you said that you had been clinically diagnosed on the show. I just played the clip. And then you turn around and let us know that you self-diagnosed. And if you're not a clinician, if you're not a practitioner, if you're not a doctor who have studied those things, self-diagnosis can be quite harmful, not only to your own self, even if you're not sharing it with anybody else, but it certainly doesn't help the autism community at large when you are spreading this type of misinformation. I have been experiencing numbness and tingling in my kneecaps, my thighs, my upper thigh, my bottom thighs, upper shin, my fingertips, and my toe tips. When I look online, about 11 different diseases pops up. Does that mean that I have all 11 of those diseases? Does it mean that I have MS? Does it mean that I have Lyme disease? Does it mean that I have lupus? Does it mean that I have a pinched nerve? I can't say that because I align with these symptoms online and numbness in the face. I can't say that I necessarily have that. Tests need to be done. Blood work, scans of the brain need to be done in order for you to truly be diagnosed by a professional. So not only did you lie when Shannon asked you, when were you clinically diagnosed? Oh, what is 42 plus? Oh, it was just recently. And then you come out and say, no, I wasn't clinically diagnosed because I ain't had $10,000. And then you say, oh, it's funny when y'all want to believe doctors. Do we trust doctors like that? Considering how Black people were used as guinea pigs when they were in this experimental phase of trying to figure out what was going on, Henrietta Lacks and everything else? No, but when our arm is falling off and when we're in excruciating pain, where do we drag ourselves to? The goddamn ER. Do we trust police? But when we're being attacked, do we call the police and still utilize them services? You damn right we do. Like, I don't get where you coming from with this. As a matter of fact, I get where you're coming from because it truly gives, and it just gives so much. It gives so much, and the nerve of you to lie and for people hold you to task and hold you for and about exactly what you said out of your own mouth. Now you're trying to gaslight us. Oh, well, when did y'all start believing doctors all of a sudden? It doesn't mean that we trust them with everything, but studying the body is a sort of a science, and some people have more information. Doctors and the people who work in these hospitals have more experiences with studying the body than we do. They're better at this science than us. So when I'm in an absolute crisis and I'm in excruciating pain, you damn right I'm gonna go to the hospital, although I think something could go wrong, but this is the best place for me to be. Do we trust the police? No. But if somebody was breaking in my house, or if I was getting my ass beat, or I was still in an abusive relationship, you damn right I'm gonna call the police. What is wrong with you? This Venn diagram that you have built makes no sense. It makes no sense. And this is where people who are smart and people who are extremely educated end up being the dumbest person in the room. Because they're used to playing word salad games with people. And this is crazy to me. It's crazy. But let's finish hearing what she has to say, and then I'm going to finish going in.
Like, I just think that that's one thing that's wild. Two, I think that it's a lot of people that do not know anything about autism.
Girl, and you come off as one of those people. Another thing, do we trust white people based on racism and oppression and how we were stolen from Africa and our motherlands? But do we still work for the white man to pay our bills and to feed our families and to feed our kids and to pay our rent? Oh, no, we don't trust the white people like that. And we will always have those conversations at the barbershop, in the hair salons, in the nail salons, and at the kitchen table. But do we still get our money and get some resources and do what we need to do in order to engage and barter and trade our time for money and vice versa? Stop it. Stop it. You said you were clinically diagnosed. You were not. You self-diagnosed yourself based on a list of 5 goddamn symptoms you saw online. I'm weird. I'm not accepted. People don't like me. I'm autistic. No. And it does not cost $10,000 to be diagnosed with with autism. Do you not have insurance? You damn sure have a lot more capital, a lot more access, and a lot more resources that are well within your reach. And you mean to tell me that you're willing to be cheap when it comes to your health, your mental health, your neurological health, your neurodivergent health, that you're not? And this is the person who says, y'all got Jordans, but y'all ain't got passports. You need to be able to travel if you can have these expensive shoes. Okay, well, since you bragging on the passport and traveling all around the world and acting holier than thou and so self-righteous that you can travel around the world, how much money are you spending to travel around the world with this motherfucking passport? Because if you can do all that to travel, you can put that motherfucking money into figuring out what your diagnosis. Therefore, what is your treatment? How are you treating this? How are you coping with this? How are you changing this? How are you able to better live with this? It's a lot of things that's not making sense with what you're saying right now. And the way that you like to turn up your nose and look down at other Black people who their priorities are in different places than yours, Amanda. You want to speak down on the person who would rather have an expensive bag or an expensive shoe and stay confined to the United States rather than travel outside of the United States. But you have more money than most of us online. Do you have Oprah money or Tyler Perry money? No, you don't. But you got more than us living here in Baltimore, in Randallstown, and Pikesville, and Owens Mills, in Chicago, and Philly, our regular New York folk. This is your health you're talking about, your neurodivergent health, your mental health, an illness that you have, and you refuse to. So if you've self-diagnosed yourself, then are you also self-medicating? How are you getting the meds that you need, or how are you coping? How are you doing this? Because that's more important than traveling outside of the country as well. So if you want to sit here and talk down on people, I'm going to need you to make it make sense on all fronts, Amanda. I'm going to need you to bring out the dancing lobsters and make it make sense. For real. It's funny, all of a sudden, y'all want to believe doctors. Well, how about you just never go to a goddamn doctor ever again? How about you? Every time something's wrong, go to WebMD and look up what's wrong and do it yourself and do it holistically and shit. But I bet you don't do that. Stop it.
I've seen people say things like, well, I can't say that I got diagnosed with cancer if a doctor didn't diagnose me for cancer. And it's like, well, ma'am, cancer is something that you test for with blood and with actual biological things. Autism is a neurological disorder. It is a different set of testing. And the testing that is done is incredibly expensive and often is not even able to be had by adults. The waiting lists are often for years. And especially for Black women, the only studies for autism at length have really been for young white boys.
Oh, wow.
I talked about this in the interview, and they cut it out of the interview. So the autism, so the majority of pathology around autism is done on young white boys. And so even girl children don't get properly diagnosed. And many parents have come in my DM saying, thank you so much for talking about this, because we have gone through so much struggles to get a diagnosis. And for the most part, the clinical diagnosis is a wide ranging meaning. So clinical doesn't have to simply mean by a physician. It can mean by a psychologist. It can mean by a psychiatrist. It can mean by someone who is an autism expert that has a master's degree. And it results in them observing you and you filling out bubble tests. Those same bubble tests are available online because of all of the disparities that are faced in the medical field for people to get tested. And as an adult, when you realize that you fall on the spectrum, you are now responsible for how you are going to care for yourself. Now, in some cases, if you are high functioning, you may not need the resources that a diagnosis from a medical practitioner that is able to get insurance will get. But if you are high functioning, this can change the way that you understand your life, the way you understand your brain, the way you understand how you interact with the world in such incredible, magnanimous ways. It is such a revelation. And that is what led me to this. So many Black women saw what was happening to me with Essence, et cetera, and said to me, I feel like you might be on the spectrum because these are all of the complaints that I've been getting all my life.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, I've been getting them too. But you know, as we have seen the language around this change over the years, we really have to look at it as enlightenment. And when I see people say things like, oh, you're just saying you're autistic because that is a reflection of them. Okay. I mean, that is such a nonsensical way of existing that I can't even fathom that. So that is something that maybe you would do. And so you think I would do it, but that is just not how I live my life. Furthermore, autism is not something that people are like running around, throwing around for clout. Like I've never,
that's wild.
Like I've never heard of that. But for me, as somebody who has been, who has always just felt alienated my whole life and always felt like there were things about me that I could not understand, I found a community of people who do understand. And so, you know, for anyone who has something to say, you know, that you can do what you want to do with your time on this precious earth. But
So Amanda has felt alienated and alone her entire life, and that makes her feel like she is autistic. A lot of times what happens when a child is born, sometimes they can sense that straight from birth, like straight out the cooch. They're like, listen, your child is autistic. Your child more than likely won't have any friends, won't be able to form friend relationships because they do lack social cues. Put an 88 in the chat if you watch The Good Doctor. I believe it's on Netflix, but it could probably be on other platforms as well. It reminds me of the show House, which is kind of like a derivative of Grey's Anatomy. It's this group of this network of people who work, but The Good Doctor is based on a hospital, this team, and one of the doctors is extremely smart, but has no sort of social cue, situational awareness at all. And he is living with autism, and they have to work around that, which is really difficult. And he's isolated because a lot of people can't really tolerate him on a personal level. And so because Amanda Seales feels alienated, she doesn't get along with a lot of people, she feels like an outcast. This is what is contributing to her being autistic? No, like people just don't fucking like you because you're not likable. You cause problems everywhere you go. There's not a single arena that you are in where after you leave there isn't some drama or some riffraff. You did this thing with Shannon Sharpe. You finished the interview and he said, "How do you feel?" And you said, "Can I get a hug?" And y'all hugged each other and y'all laughed and y'all joked. And then you laughed and you said he was interrogating you. You said he pushed you in a corner. You're dragging him. He and nobody that works on his team or who sees things from his perspective as a person who really just extended his platform to you is going to be willing to work with you. You ruined it at The Real. You ruined it with Issa Rae. And I get it from what you were saying, which what happened to you with Issa Rae, it seemed wrong, but you be exaggerating sometimes. You be lying sometimes. You be stretching the truth sometimes. So it makes it difficult to take everything that you say at face value. It does. It does. You are single-handedly ruining your own credibility. You absolutely are doing that. And that sucks for you. I hate that for you. But you love that for you because you run towards conflict and you love it as long as you feel like you are victorious. But as soon as, the backlash or the accountability or the criticism falls in a way in which is uncomfortable and undesirable for and to you, now all of a sudden, here you are. When did y'all start trusting doctors?
I'm going to do with my time is really connect with that community in a way that I'm only now able to do because I did the due diligence of self-diagnosis over the course of months and the support of my mother, the support of my psychiatrist, and the support of the autism community.
All right.
But let me just say this.
Okay.
So then people are like, yeah, but you lied about it on the show. And I didn't lie about it on the show. What happened was that he was pushing me in a corner that he never should have been pushing me in the first place.
Is the corner in the room with us? I'm trying to see and understand. I'm looking through the players in the Himalayas to see if the corner, he didn't push you shit. As a person who is an interviewer, as a person who is extending their platform to you, I have the responsibility of not allowing you to spew any and everything on here without me challenging you in some capacity, just to get some clarity so that you're not on here just speaking nonsense. I asked you when you were clinically diagnosed. Well, when? That's a very decent, non-invasive question. If you're saying that this is something that you live with. Me, for example, I have been clinically diagnosed with anxiety and depression at 2 different times in my life. Once this year and another time, which I think was like 2010-ish. Did I feel like I had anxiety and depression before I was actually diagnosed? Yes, but I wasn't sure. But I was actually officially diagnosed once around 2010 and once this year as well. So you can feel that you have whatever you have, but it's not wrong to ask somebody about a clinical diagnosis when there are so many people diagnosing themselves. Nowadays, a doctor will tell you in a heartbeat. I looked online, it said that if I'm experiencing this, so I'm experiencing my finger might fall off or this, or you might be self-diagnosing. You might actually be causing a bit of a strain to your psyche and the way that you are thinking because you're looking at stuff online and you're not a professional. I'm a professional. So you'll catch a lot of doctors telling you to avoid the self-diagnosis, to avoid Googling what these symptoms could lead to, because it's win, lose, or draw when you're online searching for what your symptoms may act, what the diagnosis to with these, because symptoms look different for everybody. Person A can be diagnosed with lupus and be experiencing hair loss. Person B can be diagnosed with lupus and have a full head of hair, but really just have numbness and tingling. So you can't really say, you need blood work. You need scans of the brain. You need scans of the back. You need MRI. There's a whole science to the human body, and it's ever evolving. So there was nothing wrong with him asking you that. Maybe he sensed the cap in the way, because really the thing about this is Amanda Seales did what she did, and I feel like it was cruddy, right? If you're neurodivergent, what is the treatment? It was a very weird flex because she kind of wore it like a badge of honor, and she gave it up within the first 15-ish, maybe 20-ish minutes of the interview. And I do think that this ruins her credibility. She complains that she's not believed a lot, but how are you able to better navigate? How are you able to help heal, cope, or what solutions do you have since you've self-diagnosed yourself? Because if you have a clinical diagnosis, they can help you with tactics, techniques, medicines, and ways in which to go through life better, easier with that. What is your medication? What is your dosage? And I think that the misinformation of the self-diagnosis is really problematic to spew, especially towards our own community. It's harmful to people who actually need help in our community. It's dangerous behavior. It's dangerous to spew. And I think that Amanda enjoys conflict until it gets too hot, and then she likes to play victim. I'm very emotionally intelligent, but you self-admittedly are bad at picking up on social cues, so much to the point you really felt like Issa Rae needed to be your friend when she was your boss at that time. I'm not saying that Issa Rae didn't do anything wrong or that she couldn't have done more to make you feel welcome or to help mitigate whatever the issue between Issa Rae's publicist and Amanda Seales were. But for you to act like you're so emotionally astute, and then for you to feel upset that your boss wasn't your friend, it lets me know that you're not as emotionally, and I'm very emotionally intelligent. It lets me know that you aren't. That really hurt me when that was your boss. Your boss has no real duty to be your friend. Also, I don't see Amanda Bynes take. I want to say Amanda Bynes because I feel like Amanda Seales is constantly caught up in some sort of self-inflicted bind, if that makes sense. But when it comes to Amanda Seales, I feel like she never takes accountability. She never takes accountability. She calls somebody a revolutionary nigga on set of Insecure. That person had an issue and they went to human resources on her. Did that seem like it was a bit much? Maybe. You know, you do have some Black people who really don't respect the word nigga. A lot of us use it as a term of endearment. Some of us don't. And Amanda felt like, well, I should have been able to say that because that's what we were saying. That was a part of our script, our lining. We said it on camera. He was saying nigga in his words as an actor on the show. But everything you act as on the show doesn't mean that that's how you want to live in real life. That's why it's called acting. And so if you trying to act like you didn't do anything wrong by calling him a revolutionary nigga, because you felt like he was doing great things in life and it was a term of endearment for you, it wasn't a term of endearment for him. And you have to respect his boundary. That's his boundary. Amanda Seales oftentimes speaks about boundaries and how people, take it too far and they aren't taking her feelings or what she likes or what she doesn't like into consideration. And for some reason, she finds this revolutionary Black man's boundary to be asinine. Well, a lot of people could find Amanda Seales' boundaries to be asinine. Am I right? Am I tripping? I mean, what's really going on? What's really going on here, Amanda? You are insufferable. You have a MoNique spirit. You would much rather sit up and speak about and breathe life into all of the things that are wrong about what you are going through and what you are experiencing in life and how you've been wronged by everybody and you're a model citizen and you've never done anything wrong. I would love to know what is your role in all of these stories. And I'm not saying, because there was some stuff that Amanda was sharing and it seemed like Shannon Sharpe, Shay Shay, was trying to, he's being a little bit of a white apologist. Amanda shared that she was a child somewhere between 8 and 11 years old, and you're only here because you're Black or you're a nigga, and diversity, equity, and inclusion, essentially. And Shannon was pushing back on that, like, oh, were they really being racist or were they just being kids saying mean things? And like, what? That was strange to me. Absolutely. So do I think that Amanda has been mistreated and race has had something to do with it? Absolutely. But it doesn't help when she lies about certain things because it makes us doubt everything, a lot of stuff, if not everything that she brings to our attention. Like, is she really being truthful? Is she lying? Because she says she was clinically diagnosed with autism. Then she comes out and tell us that she wasn't clinically diagnosed. She was self-diagnosed. And then she blamed us by saying that, oh, it's funny y'all want to believe doctors all of a sudden. Like, girl, when you were asked the question about the doctors, are you clinically diagnosed? You said you were. Now that we're actually sticking to tags, now you blaming it. Girl, you ruined your own credibility, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. There are people who I know, who I'm friends with, who have children, who are actually living with autism, who are actually on the spectrum. And this sort of rhetoric and this misinformation and this dodging and dancing of accountability and her not really spreading real information about autism, just, I feel like I got it because I'm not understood. It's moot. And I really think that it does more of a hindrance and harm than it does anything good for, Black people in the community who are living with autism or have a child or a family member or a friend living with autism. Last but not least, as it pertains to my thoughts, opinions, feelings, and my perspective about Amanda Seales, she always needs to prove she's so bright. If you're very bright, you never have to say it. Others will automatically notice it. Absolutely. My thing is, Amanda, let me let this clip play. I think it's.
So let's start with that. It is
Okay.
so wildly inappropriate to demand that you prove to somebody about a diagnosis of a medical issue. It is unbelievably irresponsible for an interviewer to do that. I would never have somebody on this show say that they are autistic or that they have cancer or that they have ADHD or that they, I don't know, have endometriosis and then ask them, are you sure? I mean, just because you have cramps don't mean you got endometriosis. Like that's just so, it really is very insensitive. But I would also say that a lot of times when you're in these interviews, it's just so intense. And I felt I felt like my back was against the wall, and I felt like this man was pushing me for information, not for the sake of understanding, but for the sake of gotcha. That's what it felt like, because he had already set that up. And so I tried to evade the question. I'm not good at evading. We all see that. I'm a direct gal.
You've already responded, I should say, about the discovery of your autism. But what do you want people to either know about autism or the fact that you recently discovered that you have autism? There's a lot of talk about whether or not the diagnosis was clinical, or what would you like to say about that?
First, I want to say it is so wild to see people pick and choose when they want to believe doctors and when they don't. Like, I just think that that's one thing that's wild. Two, I think that it's a lot of people that do not know anything about.
Okay. My thing here is this. Got to be honest. Incoming trigger warning, colorism discussion coming. So Amanda Seales has got to be some sort of fucking exhausting. That she benefits from colorism, because every light-skinned person does, right? It's undeniable. You can feel like colorism is the most disgusting thing, which is adjacent to, racism, right? Fair skin tones get awarded with people's biases, people's perceptions, and just a different type of treatment. And that's not anything you control. You can feel like, ugh, I don't want to be treated differently because I'm fair skinned. Oh, this is disgusting. But no, you benefit from colorism if you're fair skinned. End of the story, period, point blank. For her to be because the thing is, Amanda Seales is extremely educated. She's very smart, but in a sense, she's too smart for her own good. Also, I feel like something is not right with her. Her elevator doesn't go all the way to the top. Both oars ain't in the water. She ain't the brightest crayon in the box. She ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer, baby. I could go on and on. But she's very educated and decorated in an academic sense. And she just so happens to be a woman of a fair complexion with a hair texture, right? I don't know if you ever see her hair in its natural state, but it's very much given racially. Her hair texture gives racially ambiguous. She by default benefits from colorism, and people are still tired of her shit. She's got to be a special type of exhausting to even benefit from colorism in this way. And for people to still be like, Amanda, save it. Stop it. I feel like Amanda coming into this interview within the first 15 to 20 minutes and being like, I'm on the spectrum. I've always felt like I'm on the spectrum because I don't fit in and I don't get along and people don't like me. I'm on the spectrum. That way, everything that she led with, after that, we were supposed to easily take, because who wants to pick on or be overly critical of an autistic Black person? Who? Right? It'll come off kind of cruel just from the outside looking in or looking at it on paper until you find out it's Amanda goddamn Seals. And it's like, oh no, it's Amanda. It's Amanda. She. Okay. She's problematic. She's problematic, and she likes to make it seem like she has a target on her back and everybody is shooting towards her, when really she is the one who is making things difficult for herself. She is. And there's no other way to put that. And there's no nice way to put that. We just have to keep it a buck. Amanda prides herself in saying, well, I'm very blunt. And so are we in expressing how tired we are of your ish. We're tired of it. We're tired. We're sick. We're sick and we're tired and we're tired and we're sick. Let me see. There was something else that she said. Doubting her views and following the experience on Club Shay Shay. Okay, we got one more thing we need to look at pertaining to Amanda Seals. I see she's turned the comments off on her Instagram post about, what we're discussing. I do see that. So let's go ahead and get into this. Listen, if you haven't already taken a moment to hit the thumbs up button, baby, what is he waiting for? I will kick you off this bus so fast you won't even know what hit you. Click that goddamn like button, okay? We are sitting here having a really good discussion. I've been waiting to talk to y'all about this. Hit that button, okay?
Hey, thanks for letting me keep you connected and in the know with what's happening in the Black world. Don't forget to smash on that like button for support and for more Black news.
Thank you all so much. Let me see. I'll have to scroll down.
Views, like as an interview, but I just wanted to bring something to the foreground. I've been doing interviews, like as an interviewer, since 2003. I was a hip hop journalist. And I wrote for XXL, the source for allhiphop.com. I was also a radio host on Sirius Satellite Radio. I've also had a podcast for 6 years. I'm also now a radio host again. And so I am an expert interviewer. So I just wanted to point out the comedy of people not only doubting my experience on that show as an interviewee, but also forgetting that I am an expert interviewer who was not only judging it as an interviewee, but as an interviewer and saying this one minute. I forgot, I was also a host on MTV too. So while I have you, if you want to hear me talk about my experiences and give you the comedies and give you the truths, then I hope to see you at the Unlikable Tour. I will be in Baltimore, Maryland on May 10th, 11th, and 12th at the Baltimore Comedy Factory. Ticket link in bio or go to amandaseals.com. Let's sell these shows out. Let's support a real one. I'm really good at comedy. That was me tooting my own horn. It's a week later. People are still talking about this damn interview, but I just wanted to bring something to the foreground.
You and me in Baltimore, Maryland. You funny. Girl, what's so interesting about people who think that they are funny when people are laughing at them and not with them That's the joke right there. We are laughing at you. I think I went to go look at the tickets and I was like, I don't know. I mean, it was 2 tickets for $90, which actually isn't bad. I'm like, should I go see her? Because I'm already going to be sitting there I'm going to sit down at the table and she's going to come out and that's the same thing I did to T.I. When T.I. came down to the Comedy Factory, I was sitting there like, because he had already been booed. We had already seen him getting booed on social media. And then he came here and I was like, I need to go see him for myself. That way I can give an exclusive report on what his comedy was or was not hitting on. And I was sitting there the whole time T.I. came out and I was like, I'm not here to see you do good. I'm really here to confirm my bias, which is that you ain't good at this shit. But I'm here. Oh. Should I go see Amanda? Will I pay to go see Amanda? I think I got a couple of cash apps. I might do it. A couple of y'all sent a cash app. Let me see. I got a cash app from Latanya Thomas for $25. Thank you so much. And also Tawana to Inspire TV sent $30. I can ship you some herbs for pain and circulation. Oh, thank you so much. That would mean so much to me because, baby, the lack of circulation, the pill that I'm taking now cuts down on inflammation, and inflammation causes pain. So the pain has definitely been, decreasing. Appreciation for the commentary. Thank you. So yes, that would be great because, baby, the way these knees is set up, I would have never known. But yeah, so okay, if I get another cash app or two, I might go see Amanda Seals and let y'all know what it is on an exclusive tip. Okay, because I really don't think she's that funny like that. She might say a couple funny. It's just like some people think I'm funny, right? But I'm not a comedian. Like some people feel like I've missed my calling. I'm funny as hell. And mind you, y'all ain't really seen my real funny bone because I haven't been consistent because I've been trying to prioritize my health instead of prioritizing YouTube. But just because I can make y'all laugh a couple of times a day doesn't mean that I need to be going to go book an arena to try to be a stand-up comedian. Like, no. I can be funny here on YouTube and inform y'all and enlighten y'all and spend time, and it can just be that, Like, I'm curious to know if she's really that funny. Should I go see her, y'all? Should I go see her? Okay, I already highlighted that. Okay, I want to get in a Raven Salon before we get out of here. I think that might be our last topic, and then we'll have other stuff. Somebody said check the super chats. Okay, let's see. Did I get a different one? Okay, this was a super chat. I think I already read this one. I already read that one. I read Princess. I read down there. Oh, I did get a call. Oh, Thais, the official Thais report. Okay, shout out to Thais. I did not know Thais was here. Thank you, Thais. Thais, I'm always Bill. I am always in Thais's chat and his bushes. He has a really great channel. Y'all take notice of this name on the screen right here, the official Thais report. He is so funny and has such a welcoming yet shady spirit. I'm here for it. I love it. I love Thais's channel. It is just absolutely amazing. Sis, you are making some great points. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. I definitely appreciate that. I do.
But that's it. If you want to catch more of my commentary on Black culture or vital and trending information, be sure to subscribe by hitting that little circle in the middle of the screen, or I'll catch you in one of these rectangles to the right in another video. I'll see you there.